Hello everybody and welcome to Bright Weird. I'm going to cover a controversial subject today. Please don't take it too seriously as I don't want to cause any offence, particularly not to one of the richest persons on earth. I'm going to tell you about something that I don't think many people know about, and if they do, they're not talking about it online. So here we go. Elon Musk and his partner Claire, who's commonly known as the rapper Grimes, gave birth to a child on Tuesday the 5th of May 2020. Curiously, they chose to give their child a rather peculiar name. The proud parents confirmed they have named their baby A12. In this lecture, I'm going to decode this name using an ancient method, one that's been used for millennia to encode numbers into written text. After reading a book recently called the Sepher Yetzirah, or the Book of Formation, I was reminded of a little-known alphanumeric connection. This interesting relationship I refer to states that letters can be given a numerical value. The implication of this is that words can be treated to the magic of Pythagoras. They can be treated mathematically. Names and even entire books can be numbers, and sacred codes and information can be stored in an innocent story. All this started around 600 BC when the Greeks introduced a system of alphabetic numeration. All 24 letters of the Greek alphabet being used for this purpose. 4 centuries later, around 200 BC, Judaism adopted the system with their 22-letter alphabet, which was adapted to marry again with numbers. The table which you're now looking at details the alphanumeric connection. You'll see the Greek alphabet, below it Hebrew, and then the numerical value assigned to each letter. At the bottom is the modern Latin alphabet for reference. Throughout history, the Greek and Hebrew symbols were used to record numbers on an additive basis, the value represented by a string of letters being the sum of their respected numerical values. Here's some examples below. So we've got the name Jesus Christ in both Greek and in Latin English. If we take the word Jesus there in Latin English, J referring to the chart is 10, E is a 5, S is 100, U is 300, and S again is 100, making a total of 515. If we apply the same to the word Christ, we get 410. We add 515 to 410 and we get 925. Now that's the product of 37 and a 25 times 37 is 925. We can do exactly the same with the Greek version. Now the numbers are different, but again 37 because it refers to the same thing. It should be noted in both cases 37 is a multiple of a perfect square. So we know that Jesus has a value of 515 and Christ a value of 410. At this stage I should also mention that it's said that the true name of the Antichrist can also be decoded to a numerical value using this system, and that no man might buy or sell save that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, 66. The number of the Antichrist, when decoded, is 666, the number of the beast. So we know the number of the Antichrist, but what is his name? Well, it's said he has many names, and it might just be any name that adds up to a value of 666. Okay, so the purpose of this video was to decode the interesting name of Elon and Claire's child, X-A12. So, using the chart and the system I've just described, we can see that an X is 600. Now 600 is made of 6 and a 0 and a 0. 6 plus 0 plus 0 equals 6. The first number in the sequence is a 6. The second in the series is the ash part, which is an A and an E put together. A is 1, E is 5. 1 plus 5 equals 6. So the second number in the sequence is a 6. But what about A12? Now that's not so simple because A12 is already alphanumeric, so we need to think smart about this. And we take a clue that Elon and Claire gave us, and they told us that the A12 is in reference to their favourite aircraft, which is the A12 aeroplane, which is the baby brother of the Mach 7, and it was actually Mach 7, SR-71 Blackbird. Now the A12 was a slightly smaller aircraft, very similar design, looked similar to the untrained eye, and it was an out-and-out CIA spy plane. So the A12 bit of the child's name is in reference to a spy plane. Now the project was A1, A2, A3, A4, all the way up to A12, and the A stood for Archangel. So A12 literally means Archangel. So if we take the word Archangel and we get its constituent parts, A being one and so on and so forth all the way through, the total of the name Archangel is 195. 195 is a 1, a 9 and a 5. 1 plus 9 plus 5 is 15. We need to get it to a single digit. So we're left with 15. 15 is a 1 and a 5. 1 plus 5 equals 6. The third number in the sequence is a 6. So X A12 is 6, 6, 6. Okay everybody, it's probably best that you take a deep breath and don't panic, because to make matters worse, X A12 has been born in 2020, which has been a year of great catastrophe and turmoil. Fires, floods, famine, coronavirus, Comet Neowise, Black Lives Matters, riots on the streets, and that's just up until July. You'd be forgiven for believing that 2020 is actually 2012. Well, if you thought that, you wouldn't be wrong. Because due to a mix-up in calendar systems over the last 2,000 years, the Western calendar, the current Western Gregorian system that we've got, is 8 years out due to various different reasons. Now, the Coptic calendar of Ethiopia, which has not been fussed with by religious sociopaths, is 7 to 8 years behind the Gregorian system, and that's owing to various different calculations to do with the birth of Christ and several other factors that need to be taken into consideration there. This means that 2020 is actually 2012, which aligns with the end of the Mayan grand cycle system and the 5-cycle long count calendar. It also means that 2020 is the year when we transit from the astrological age of Pisces into the birth of the new age of Aquarius. And to top it all off, the Antichrist may or may not have been born to one of the richest people in the world. But like I say, don't panic. Right, so just to wrap this one up then, guys, look, 666 refers to many things, and just because two parents may or may not have chosen to mark their child with such a name really doesn't mean much. Because after all, a name is just a name, and it's how we teach and bring up our children that makes them who they are and defines who we are as parents. Also consider that good and evil are the same thing, they're just different degrees on the spectrum. And that one man's Antichrist is another man's Christ, and that there's nothing more polarising than a religious-based opinion. Think freely and try to remain in the centre, which, by the way, is also known as the monad, another marker for 666. All of this could simply be a wild synchronicity, smart design on the part of the parents, or it might just be a revelation spelling doom for all of us. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short video. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you back for the next one.